Hi, my name is Jane, and today I'm going to talk to you about my presentation entitled Changing Your Mind, Exploring Art's Power in the Degenerate Art Exhibition of 1937. In the years after World War I, the Weimar Republic encouraged creative autonomy, fostering growth of modern art throughout Germany, especially for the Expressionist and Bauhaus school. However, deep-rooted resentment in the aftermath of World War I led many to view modern art as dangerous, politically subversive, and therefore un-German. Once in power, the Nazis used persuasion and propaganda to influence public opinion about the arts, even going so far as to curate an exhibition exploiting modern art to gain favor for the National Socialist government. This exhibition, known as the Degenerate Art Exhibition, was used to brainwash people and tighten Nazi control over Germany. In fact, the Degenerate Art Exhibition was the most significant cultural event in Nazi Germany because of its ability to successfully indoctrinate the people of Germany, thus increasing the power of the National Socialist government. Ideas of nationalism and white superiority increased in Europe in the years after colonization, fueling the racial divide throughout the continent. Charged by resentment over the war reparations of World War I, racism became even more extreme in 1918 as Germany suffered a weakening economy. Politicians and writers proliferated racially motivated information targeting groups such as Jews and communists, also known as Bolsheviks, rallying behind a common enemy. Such writing popularized ideas of Aryan superiority and the subversive nature of foreigners. Modern art became another target during this time. Critics of modern art during the Weimar Republic saw its success as, quote, ultimate proof that the Republic itself was a product of foreigners and Jews aiming to humiliate and even destroy the German nation, end quote. Paul Schultz-Naumburg, an architect and racist theorist, wrote the book Art and Race in 1928, which greatly influenced the Nazi stance on modern art. In his book, Naumburg claims artistic judgment and the physicality of the artists and his work are bound by race. He argued the deconstruction of form in modern art was connected to the unhealthy mind and body of the artist, which he dubbed degenerate. In his book, he paired photographs of people with physical deformities and disease with individual artworks from modern artists such as Mondrian, Kandinsky, and Emil Nolde, as you can see here in this image, figure 1 and 2. He argued that only racially pure artists can produce healthy classical art. In fact, the Nazis adopted Naumburg's methodology for comparing the insane to avant-garde art as a way to prove degeneracy. Once the Nazis secured power over Germany in 1933, the country underwent a process of Gleichschaltung, or the Nazification of Germany. All aspects of the national and local government, civil service, education, public finance, business, professions, and the arts were forced to conform to Nazi standards. The Nazi Gleichschaltung led to the complete revocation of Germany's previous identification of its cultural heroes, not only in the visual arts, but also in literature, music, and film. The Nazis regarded the cultural life of its citizens as an extremely important aspect of their rule. Hitler even connects art to the identity of German people, stating, quote, art is a direct expression of a nation and can therefore only be understood and valued by the people of that nation, end quote. Thus, art held a high status in the Nazi government. In 1933, Joseph Goebbels was appointed Reich Minister for Public Entertainment and Propaganda, whose job was to make sure only quote-unquote racially pure art is displayed in Germany. First, the government targeted any art produced during the Weimar Republic, which it believed was influenced by American culture and opposed to the traditional German values. According to the Nazis, Weimar culture, along with avant-gardism art, is all in all its aspects was a threat in terms of both formal and intellectual expression. Museum directors and art teachers were fired. Books and paintings were destroyed, and thousands of artworks were confiscated. Under Goebbels, all of the arts were organized into Reichsstiftungskammer, controlling all aspects of German culture to a micromanaged degree, as you can see here in figure 3, which is the organizational chart for the Reich Chamber of Culture. The Visual Arts Division was brought under the control of Adolf Ziegler, named president of the Reich Chamber of Visual Arts, who focused on eliminating both objectionable artists from the field and offensive works of art from museums. In doing so, Ziegler was carrying out the idea about arts and race that had already been proliferated in German culture. Highly visible abstract art movements such as Expressionism, Cubism, and Dada were seen as intellectual, elitist, and foreign, and were linked to the economic collapse of Germany after World War I, which was blamed on a supposed international conspiracy of communists and Jews. Modern art was seen as independent and thought-provoking, which was counter to the Nazis' goal of conformity and obedience. In order to ensure all art conformed to pre-approved Nazi standards, Goebbels produced a manifesto for German art that laid the groundwork for the Nazis' outlook on the avant-garde. The manifesto included 5 main points, which I've listed for you right here. Number 1, cosmopolitan and Bolshevik art must be removed from German museums. Number 2, museum directors who wasted German money on un-German art must be fired. Number 3, no Marxist or Bolshevik artists are allowed. Number 4, no box-like structures allowed, which is reminiscent of the Bauhaus movement. And number 5, sculptures must be approved by the German public. After the publication of his manifesto, more than 16,000 examples of modern art were confiscated as degenerate, quote unquote, or immoral and corrupt by a committee empowered by Goebbels. In 1937, Adolf Ziegler, at the behest of Goebbels, curated an art exhibition aimed at condoning modern art and tightening control over the German people. The exhibition, titled the Degenerate Art Exhibition, began in Munich in 1937. This exhibition featured 112 confiscated modern artworks that are arranged to clearly manipulate visitors to loathe and ridicule the art on exhibit. The accompanying exhibition pamphlet, which you can see the title for the front cover of the exhibition pamphlet here, catalog, is figure 5, explained that the goal of the show was to reveal the philosophical, political, racial, and moral goals and intentions behind this movement and the driving forces of corruption which follow them. In his speech for the opening of the exhibition, Ziegler refers to modern artists as degenerate, pathological, mad, mutant, abusive, diseased, criminal, blasphemous, Jewish helots, Bolsheviks, seducers, and un-German. Those were all words he used in his speech. He promises it is over for those who squander hardworking tax revenue, abuse power with their pens, and who drag the German people through the dirt. Finally, in his speech, Ziegler asked the German people to, quote unquote, come and judge for yourselves. The free exhibition turned out to be a highly popular cultural event, drawing over 3 million viewers, which began in Munich before it toured Germany. As you can see here, the long line in figure 6. The layout of the show was designed to create a negative reaction for the viewers. The space included 2 narrow, vaulted rooms on the first floor and 7 narrow rooms on the second floor, which displayed all of the confiscated modern artworks. The artwork was hung without care, purposely askew or without a frame, and packed in as tightly as possible, even going up to the ceiling in some cases. The crowded artwork strengthened feelings of chaos and mishap in the exhibition. As you can see here in figure 7, an example of one of the walls of the exhibition and the crowded artworks. Graffiti text added to the claustrophobia of the gallery rooms and included angry and hostile slogans, criticism, and questions about the artwork and artists on display. The text included scathing phrases such as mockery of the divine or that man can't draw, along with questions such as was this artist colorblind? Peter Gunther, who attended the show at age 17, wrote, quote, "From the types of works selected, their hideous hanging and placement, the graffiti-like inscriptions on the walls, the quotations of price, etc., it was very obvious to me that this exhibition was not intended to introduce people to modern art, but to inflame them against these works." The aim of the Degenerate art exhibition was not only to mock modern art, but to brainwash viewers into believing the art was a symptom of evil whose artists intended to plot against the German people. The layout of the gallery reinforced Nazi hatred of modern art, creating an atmosphere of negativity for viewers. Unsuspecting viewers were persuaded to dislike the artwork by actors hired to defame the artworks. Such people would engage the viewers, arguing, quote, any deformation of natural form poisoned the viewer, and that abstract works were created primarily by dangerous foreigners and or Jews, end quote. Gunther states, it became increasingly clear to me that most people had come to see the exhibition with the intention of disliking everything, an intention that the installation was cleverly designed to encourage. The exhibition worked to indoctrinate viewers with Nazi ideals and tighten control over Germans. Exhibition visitor Fritz Lustig reinforced how much the exhibition worked to change his mind about modern art, stating, quote, they didn't seem to mean very much. If they were portraits, they seemed to distort the faces. If they were things, they seemed to be quite different from what the things really looked like. I mean, the word degenerate seemed to me to apply, end quote. Proving that the Degenerate art exhibition worked to brainwash people to conform to Nazi standards of German culture. And given that this exhibition had over 3 million visitors, this is by far the most important cultural event in Nazi history. This is a list of the resources that I used that will be in my research paper. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.